guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. You join me today with another R32. After the recent success of the supercharged R32 on my channel, I had to experience the other side of the story, which is of course a turboed R32. These notoriously come NA as standard, not the quickest car, but when you put some form of forced induction into them, be it a supercharger or a turbo kit, they are unbelievable. This car is running around the 470 mark. It's only just been finished actually, so the owner, Shane, has only driven it a couple of times, but really excited to experience a turboed one to compare it to the supercharged one that was on the channel recently. So what we'll do in usual fashion, we'll have a walk around the car, catch up with Shane, the owner. He can tell us all what he's had done to it, and then we're gonna go out and experience it for essentially a nice little drive here in the Cambridgeshire countryside. Okay, so we're joined now with Shane, the owner of the car. Mate, thank you so much for coming out today.
You're welcome.
Your turboed R32. Now this is actually, well, only the second one I've ever been in or around really.
Yeah.
So I've only ever been surrounded by forced induction ones. Yeah. Now, like I said in the intro, you've only kind of had it completed for, what, a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
really?
about two and a half weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a year in the making.
Yeah, long old process.
Yeah, long old process.
So it's all still fairly new to you, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. It's still learning the car, learning how it drives, where you can't, stick your toe down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff like that.
But it's looking very shiny under here. There's a lot which has obviously been changed and uprated. So if you wouldn't mind kind of giving us a bit of a run through, really.
Yeah, so we're running a fully forged engine.
Okay, nice.
Obviously shortened rods to allow for boost. It's got a Mark IV forged crank in it. We're running a Borg-Warner S200 SXE turbo with a Turbo Smart external wastegate. We're running a supersized, I think they're called, forged diverter valve that goes into a custom intake with a Pro Ram filter, 4-inch 4D map sensor, cast inlet. Yeah,
a lot then.
Yeah,
basically.
Lot, yeah.
In short, a lot.
Yeah. It's had a lot of stuff done to it.
Yeah. The forged engine's a big part, actually.
Yeah.
Is that the original plan to just go all out? Or?
No, unfortunately, the original plan was just a head spacer.
Okay. Yeah.
Sort of really money-wise, just to save a bit of money. Unfortunately, when we got the block off and looked at the pistons, it looked like an end of a spark plug had been mashed into 3 of them.
Ooh, not what you want.
No, so it was really, while it was out, while it was there, you might as well just do it. But obviously one thing led to another, and if you're doing pistons and rods, you've got to do a crank.
Absolutely, yeah, it makes sense once you're that far in.
So it's running really nice.
Good,
really happy.
Oh, I'm glad. But it's really tidy under here as well.
Yeah,
the whole car is actually really tidy.
Kind of wanted everything on the engine bay to, flow and look nice. Yeah. But on the same time, we wanted it to look the part, whilst keeping the outside as standard as we could. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's a bit of a sleeper, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it looks, it's pretty stock from the outside. So, to the untrained eye, it would be just a normal NA R32.
Yeah. Quite a lot of people obviously look at it and just think it is a standard 250 horsepower. Yeah. Golf Mark 32. Yeah. R32.
No, awesome stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it compares to a supercharged one, kind of how it delivers the power and things and bits and bobs like that. And I presume you're probably quite interested to hear as well.
To be honest, yeah. I've never been in a supercharged one. I'd never been in a turboed one either, until obviously I decided that's the way we were going to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you've done the exhaust, I imagine.
Yes.
What kind of exhaust are we running at the moment?
It's running basically a catback Scorpion system. Okay. Yeah. With a custom 4-inch downpipe, and obviously external wastegate on there. Yeah.
It's a shame that we can't really see the turbo that.
No, it's quite hidden. Right, I mean, it's really tight. There isn't a lot of movement, wiggle room around it. But yeah, unfortunately, it is very hidden away.
You can just see the turbo blanket back there.
Yeah, you can just see the...
It's a big old unit, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's... I can't actually remember the exact... obviously, it's a Broadwarner 200 SXE, but it's got a different exhaust housing on it.
Yeah, okay.
Just to reduce the torque in it a little bit, because the torque was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is like 700, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's 527 foot-pounds, which is, I think, around 707 Newton meters of torque.
Which is serious, serious. And actually, bearing in mind, this is a manual car as well.
Yeah. On a manual gearbox, it's really trying to push the limit of it, to be honest.
Definitely.
Which will be, hopefully, our winter project to get a gearbox sorted.
Okay, next step.
And hopefully, then we'll actually be able to not worry about what gear you're in when you bury your foot.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Well, I think if that's pretty much everything, I think we need to get this thing started up and go and enjoy some of these roads around here, because there's some awesome roads to drive. So let's get it started up and go have some fun.
Yeah, super. Let's go.
That's torquey.
Yeah.
There's no lag at all.
No, it's from the bottom, isn't it? It just pulls.
And I've just realised something as well. I've never been in a manual Mark 5, even like a GTI at all.
Oh, were they all
all been DSG?
DSG.
So this is kind of weird.
Yeah,
Because you just normally, I'm just used to just the normal DSG shifts.
Yeah. It was a really big... a little bit of me regrets getting a manual, but then when I drive, I'm like, I'm so happy I did. You hear of a lot of people that, even though you can obviously do it on the paddles, a lot of people that drive them hard say that you wanted to change down into second for that corner and it won't let you, and then you get to the corner and then it does change down, it unsettles the car, and where with this you just get, if you want it in that gear, it goes, you put it, you know.
And what's quite a funny thing to mention as well is this is still your daily, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still a car that we go to Tesco's in. We pop shopping in. If it's snowing, still drive it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, I wanted a car that you could still, go on holiday in. Still go and enjoy driving it. I mean, like yourself, really, I'd love a track car that was completely stripped, but for everyday driving,
it's not the best.
Not the sort of thing that I wanted. So the only thing that takes a lot of getting used to this is they're a really revvy engine.
Okay.
So, like now people sort of would go, oh, it sounds like it's revving, so we'll boot it, but actually we're at like 2,000 RPM.
That's true, actually.
So, even you can drop it a gear and actually use the revs.
Is it still redline at 6.5, or is that bit?
No, it's been extended.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
It is an absolute monster.
And that was just like a 30 mile an hour third gear pull. So it's
it flies.
It's fast.
It's fast. It's very fast. One thing as well, like the clutch isn't like, it's not as like jumpy. It's still quite smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I mean, it definitely takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
If I drive my automatic truck around, I get in this, and quite often I find that I nearly stall it.
I can relate with my Golf.
Yeah, but once you get used to it, it's actually it's not that bad. I mean, it is heavier. You know that you've got a different clutch in it when you're sat in traffic. you do get a bit of an achy leg.
What clutch is it?
It's a Sash's 4-paddle, solid flywheel.
Yeah.
So yeah,
one of those things.
Yeah.
Buy a manual and modify it. You've got to do the clutch.
You've got to have that. To be honest, I think if we were going to go any more horsepower, we'd really have to look at another clutch, because this clutch was sort of good for between 600 to 800 Newton meters of torque. Yeah. And we're already at 700 plus Newton meters with it.
True,
so
actually, I can't believe how much torque it's got though.
Yeah, it's something to do with these Borg-Warners. I don't, for horsepower wise, they're probably not the best turbo to use on one of these. When I had it mapped at Stealth Racing, Vince and the guys down there are incredible, and they've been working a lot with these. I think they've spent most of their life with them. Yeah. And he's developing sort of a setup that will give you the horsepower that everyone wants, and the torque as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we unfortunately had to stop putting boost at it because it was just making too much torque. Yeah, it just got ridiculous.
What else could you do though? Just a bigger turbo, I guess.
Yeah, there's I'm not 100% sure on the Garrett turbo that they put on these, but I think Vince at Stealth Racing has built one with about 560 horsepower, but it doesn't make the torque that this makes. Okay. So
that's interesting.
Again, sort of an arguable fact that do you want horsepower or torque?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those really.
But just from fourth gear like that?
Yeah, I mean I'm half throttle. Yeah. It's lasts like nothing.
And like we mentioned when we were doing a bit of a walk around as well, this is an absolute sleeper. Yeah. From the outside, I mean, stock suspension, stock wheels. Yeah. Stock looking exhaust.
Yeah. It's they're slightly bigger tips than standard, but not really, nothing major.
It's rare that you see a sleeper spec car nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty for it. Of when you modify a car, make it obvious that it's modified. Yeah. Whereas this, you look at it and think, oh, it's nice, it's really clean R32. Yeah. I think it's got a spoolie boy under the bonnet. Yeah.
As far as the outside go, I didn't want to change too much in it. Yeah. I didn't want the intercooler on show. I just wanted everything tucked behind nicely to be able to, exactly have that look, just the sleeper look. I'm debating bigger brakes at the moment. Yeah. I know everyone says, horsepower, the first thing you should do is bigger brakes. But to be honest, I mean, these are completely standard. Yeah.
Well, they're not bad.
And, they do stop you. Yeah. Someone like yourself that does a lot of track days, they would probably cook up pretty quick.
Yeah, but a lot of people with the standard GTIs put R32 brakes on them.
Brakes, yeah.
The spool you get though as well. Like it's just there, isn't it? I bet the first time you gave this a proper thrashing, once you got it back, you were like, this is why I've turboed it. Yeah. About the only thing that I kind of wanted when I sort of first said about doing it, I was like, I want turbo chatter. But for various reasons, obviously, it's not actually the best thing to have on a car. So we didn't actually end up with that, but I'm so happy. It was only recently that I was in the supercharged kind of counterpart of this, I guess. Yeah. They are still very different. They put their power down in a similar kind of way. They're still very linear. Yeah. I think the supercharger feels more OEM with a boost of power. Right. This feels, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like it wasn't meant to be like this, but it works. Yeah,
as I say, the feeling it gives you. Yeah. And with the four-wheel drive as well. You know, that Hell Dex, I mean, it must be working its head off.
Anyway, buddy, I think that's probably going to wrap things up from us today. Mate, thank you so much for taking me out on this thing.
You're more than welcome.
It's yeah, definitely not going to be my last time in a Turbo R32, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what I normally do in these videos, you can find Shane's Instagram link down in the description down below. But awesome fun. The fact his manual as well, it's yeah, awesome. Very, very cool indeed. But anyway, that is it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe for all the adventures still to come.